This is an example that demonstrates how a Bayesian network model can properly account for genuinely conflicting evidence against a suspect in a criminal case. The suspect is accused of being the offender in a crime which was committed in a pub where about 100 people were present. Now, the defendant denies being at the pub at the time of the offence, but admits to having been there earlier. So he was part of what we would call the extended crime scene. He was in the town where an estimated 1,000 people were, and there were 100 people in the pub. And so we get our prior probability that the suspect was in the pub in the absence of any other evidence of 1 in 10. Now, some DNA that could belong to the person who committed the crime is found at the scene. And this DNA matches the suspect's DNA. So we enter this evidence. But before I run the calculation, let's look at the prior probability the suspect is the offender. And now we're going to run the model. So having entered the DNA match evidence, that significantly revises our belief that the suspect was in the pub, but it doesn't have a massive impact on the hypothesis that the suspect is the offender. However, an eyewitness states that the offender looks like the person who committed the crime. So we'll enter that evidence and run the model again. So together with the DNA evidence, this is good support, it's highly probative, it shifted the probability significantly, but not enough for us to believe that the offender is more than not likely to be guilty. Then a second witness says that he heard the offender confess while in jail on remand. So we'll enter that evidence here and run the model again. This makes the probability of guilt quite likely. However, a single contradictory eyewitness says that the offender does not look like the person who committed the crime. And that single contradictory evidence suggests that the offender is unlikely to be guilty. And we can actually see what it's done to the witness reliability. The model infers that this witness is more reliable, both because of the low prior probability that the suspect is the offender, and also because it's assumed that a witness who says that the suspect doesn't match the offender is more likely to be accurate than one who does. Jail confessions are also not that likely to be true if they're not corroborated. Of course, things like lab errors can also significantly change our beliefs about the ultimate hypotheses.